broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, AfterBuzz TV / Bob's Burgers fans, and welcome to the inaugural episode of the Bob's Burgers After Show!
Yay!
This is great! Sadly, it's season 6, episode 1. We have been doing this all along, but doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. We're doing a Bob's Burgers After Show, and it is happening. It's all happening. It's gonna be great. I'm so excited. I love this show so much. That's Alexis just reeled away from my enthusiasm. Yep. So welcome, guys. I am Emma Fyffe. You can find me all over the internet at Emma Fyffe, and I am joined by a fabulous panel of ladies this evening. I will allow you to introduce yourselves, starting with the lady in the Batman shirt on the end.
Hi, I'm Alexis Torres. You can find me all over social media as A Torres, and also Tina is my spirit animal.
Yeah.
Just saying.
I am Alana Jordan. You can find me on Twitter at Alana Jordan and on Instagram at That Alana Jordan Girl.
And guys, make sure if you have not done so already to head over to iTunes and subscribe. You can also find us on all those usual places that you find podcasts, SoundCloud, Stitcher, all that good stuff, as well as on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe, comment, rate on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. On iTunes, give us those 5 stars, leave us your reviews, let us know what you think, because we like to hear from you guys. Also, you guys can communicate with us using the hashtag ABTVBobsB, because we couldn't just do BB, because there's too many BB shows, and Bob's Burgers is too long for a hashtag because we want to be able to tweet other things in our tweets.
I like Bob's B.
I like Bob's B too. I think it encompasses it really well.
Awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And you know exactly what it is.
Yeah, I would hope so.
So, season 6, episode 1, Sliding Bobs, of course, a play on the sliding doors. Do you guys remember that movie with Gwyneth Paltrow?
Yep.
That was great. And basically, the premise of it is what would have happened if the circumstances under which Bob and Linda met had been different, specifically if Bob had not had a mustache.
I love that that's how it all started, was
Yes.
the fact of it looks like he's trying to work on himself, which is rare for me. I was like, oh, he's trying to lose weight, good for you.
Yeah.
And he goes to take a shower after a long, hard workout, and he notices that hair is like falling out, and he's like, oh, it's probably my bald spot getting larger. And it's like, no, it's actually your mustache.
Yeah.
No, I love that he gets his whole family to check his bald spot.
Yes. That it wasn't like
is it bigger? They're like, no, your bald spot is exactly the same.
Yeah, it's
the size of a
mayonnaise jar.
Mayonnaise jar.
I was like, oh my word.
So overall thoughts on the episode before we start talking about some of the more specific details.
I think there was a very missed slider opportunity.
Yes.
pun.
Yes, I agree.
completely
That was the
agree with
only
you.
thing. I was like, all right, come on, Bob's Burgers. You love punch just as much as I do, and that's why I love you.
Yeah, I agree, because there was this really good sort of double entendre between the sliding doors analogy and sliding Bob's, like, sliders, burgers.
I was expecting it to be sliders. That's what I wanted. And I
Yeah.
was just like, sliding burgers.
Yeah, nope. There was not one slider in this whole episode.
No, I'm so upset.
That was a letdown. Alexis, your initial thoughts?
I was super excited to see, because I've always wanted to know how Bob and Linda got
yeah,
together.
totally.
It didn't hit me until 6 seasons later. 6 seasons later that we didn't get that story. And I think it's so Bob and Linda to be like, oh, I smacked you in the face and my ring got stuck in your giant, luxurious Tom Selleck mustache.
Yes,
Tom Selleck is that's my new favorite.
Yeah, Tom Selleckian.
It sounds like an alien, but with Tom Selleck's face on it, or just mustaches.
I did think it was kind of crazy, though, that the first episode this season, there are no burgers at all.
No,
it's not just sliders.
You're right.
There are no burgers.
You're
It's
right.
hot dogs.
That's right, because the only time we're in the restaurant is in
When
Tina's
it's
story.
Hugo's hot dogs.
Oh,
but I did like that
man.
they still had, because my favorite thing to look at is the whatever business is on the right when the opening credits. The outlet electrical supplies.
Yes.
Good on you guys. I liked it.
No, it was awesome.
And then the specials. And so I like that it was just boring kielbasa dog.
I know. I was like, that's
So I was like, oh.
Well, and that when they came in the end, and Bob was the health inspector instead of Hugo, and he's like, we hear you've been using actual wiener dogs to make your wieners. And he's like, yeah, isn't that what you're supposed to do?
And I was just like,
is that the way you make gourmet wieners?
And I was just like, Hugo, that is just the epitome of you, buddy. That was terrible.
So yeah, basically at the beginning of the episode, we find out, that Bob is losing some of his mustache hair. He's like, I think I'm going to shave it off. Linda's like, no, it's the most important facet of our relationship.
Hasn't he lost his mustache before? I feel like this has happened at least once.
Where
like
I
something
feel like
happened.
the mustache has been in peril.
This
is like several times.
Yeah, but this is the first episode where the focus has been the mustache being in peril.
I don't think I've ever seen so many mustaches in my life. Animated wise.
And so despite the fact that Bob discourages them from doing so, the kids all decide to wildly speculate about what would have happened if Bob had not had a mustache when he and Linda met.
I love that because I have to say this quote because it's one of my favorites. I agree with Gene, where a world without Gene is not a world I want to live in.
know.
Yes. I love Gene. Well, I guess we'll never know, but we can wildly speculate.
No. Please,
no.
It all started.
So good.
And Gene just jumps right into it. Now, this reminded me a little bit of that episode last season. It was, I think, called Gail's Tales, where they were all telling stories to Gail to their Aunt Gail to try to convince her to take them to this concert.
I don't know what it is about Aunt Gail, but anytime she comes across that, Linda, like, oh my god, I would just like lose my mind of how adorable she is, and also I want all of her cats to say.
Right.
I know, right?
I loved in that detail that she was the queen of cats to roast in Louise's Game of Thrones tale.
It was the coolest thing in the world. I'm still on that high.
But Tina's tale was my favorite because I'm a huge Jane Austen nerd, so that was so good. So amazing.
If you haven't seen it, go watch the last season.
I love when they do the kids' stories.
Me too.
Episodes.
So cool.
They're so good.
Because each of the kids' stories is such a great reflection of their own personality.
It's such a good way to kick off the season too, because it really shows the dynamic of the family to somebody who maybe hasn't seen the show yet.
Absolutely.
So it appeals to wide range audience, but then also diehard Bob's Burgers fans.
Totally. And that's the thing that is really great about Bob's Burgers is it is a very episodic show. You can pick up kind of anywhere in Bob's Burgers. And sure, I think you definitely get a lot more enjoyment out of it if you've been watching it from the beginning, but you don't have to watch it from the beginning to generally get what's going on and enjoy this show, because ultimately the show is so much about this really positive family dynamic.
It's so good.
It's like you say, Alexis, like Tina is your spirit animal. She's my spirit animal. I think we all have a little bit of Tina in us.
Yeah. Yes. And I mean, I think that's the other thing that I love about the kids, that you have a little bit of each of them. Gene is just that overzealous, just like one-liner zinger kind of guy. Yeah. Tina's just like, everything is just in her own little imagination.
I know.
And Louise just wants to destroy things and rule the world. Yeah. Like, I'm okay with every single thing, and I have a bit of every single kid in that.
I feel like I talk like Tina, think like Louise, and eat like Gene.
That's exactly how I am. Like, to a T. Gentlemen, look at these ladies. Like, you can't get us anywhere else.
I think I think like Tina, act like Louise, and eat like Gene.
Yeah, for real, like straight up.
So it starts with Gene's story, which I have entitled Robo Stash.
No, that's what he called it. He called it Robo Stash, and it was
Officer Robo Stash.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Thank you.
And it's pretty much, if you didn't catch that, it was a RoboCop story to a point, even though he wasn't a cop when he walked into the bar.
I know. That was so funny how contrived that was. So basically, Bob gets his upper lip cut, and in a fabulous quote from Gene, wait, I wrote it down. He says that Bob's lip was no match for a small cut, visibly occluded rose-cut diamond, to which Bob goes, you know an awful lot about diamonds. And he goes, a boy can plan for his big day.
And I'm like, yes, Gene.
I just like that he explains that the reason that they did mustaches was because they tried ding-dongs, but they were buggy.
And they were buggy.
And Linda's response is, sure.
Yeah. That's like Linda's always, her response is like, yeah,
well, that's a given, of course.
Well, that's the thing, is that, it is about these parents relating to their very weird odd children.
Yes. No. Well, also Linda is also very odd.
I know.
I feel like Bob is normal to a point, but there are times you're like, oh, Bob, you're weird, buddy.
Yeah.
They're so weird, but that's why they go together so
Yeah,
well.
exactly.
As Tina said, they go together like peanut butter and
Jerry.
Jerry.
You know,
Jerry. The guy who brought peanut butter to school every day, Jerry.
I love that so much. That's the one thing I've always loved
so
about this
good.
show, all 6 seasons and on or whatever, is that the fact that the writing is so on point.
It really is.
They don't have to go over the top with anything. It's
No.
just it's relatable, it's funny, and it hits on the nose.
It's really genius observational humor. Like
Yes.
my favorite was when later on when he runs into Linda again as Robo Stash. And he's like, "Oh, I remember you." And she's like, "Yeah, that's why I said hey, it's you." And he goes, "You can say that to anyone, it's always true."
It's true. It really is true.
So genius.
And also the one thing I love is that how they describe things. Like my second favorite thing is how Gene describes the duties of a Robo Stash, where he's like, it has a revolver, a melon baller, paper shredder, universal remote, pencil sharpener, toothpick, and I think it was like a gas, not gas mask. It was like a gas gun or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was just like. But I love at the end he's like melon baller. And I'm like, I feel like you're just pulling stuff out of your butt there, Gene.
Well, that's because the mustache unit was bristling with state-of-the-art technology.
That was the best.
Genius.
Yeah,
I love it.
So
The awesome fight between Terminator and a Roomba.
Which I'm
my
sorry,
God, that was amazing.
Terminator and a Roomba pretty much look like an Inspector Gadget off.
I know.
But it was terrible.
Well, and I feel
Red
like,
eye,
and I
pink
feel
eye.
like Mr. Fishodor has like a little bit of like a Dr. Claw vibe about
He
him.
does.
You know what I mean?
He has a cat, doesn't he, or something like that?
I think so.
I feel like he does.
I feel like I've seen him with a cat at times. I'm trying to think back because the last
He did, but then Aunt Gail took it.
Oh,
I would not doubt that though. That's so true in my mind.
that's another episode.
Yeah.
No, but I loved that the whole plan was that Mr. Fishodor was going to just drive out the entire population of the town.
Yep.
By having nitpicky Robo Stash cops.
Yes.
So that he could build a city-sized theme park.
Pretty much. Which I was like, but who's gonna go? German tourists! I'm like, yes, that makes sense.
It's very true. Yeah, and so basically, throughout the whole episode, Tina is constantly trying to be like, no, guys, it's fate. Remember, it's fate. It's great. That's an easy way to remember it.
I can't remember the other two ones off the top of my head. It was like something about if there's, oh man, I'm so sad I didn't write this down. They had really good quips of rhyming and bringing it back to like, we're not going to be here if it did. I remember Gene saying like something, it was like Linda and Bob something we don't come out of there, and he points
Without hair, we don't come out of there.
There it is.
Thank you.
Exactly. I can't remember what Louise's
I don't remember.
was.
Louise's was pretty good. It was like something not there.
Yeah, it was something dark.
Yeah, no, that's the other.
Always.
That's the other thing about this show is that they have things that are darker. You're like, whoa, but then you're still laughing at
Yeah,
them.
no, totally. Well, because Louise has a very sardonic sense of humor.
Yeah.
But Tina throughout the whole thing is trying to be really positive. So even as Jean is telling her story, she's trying to constantly be like, haha, see, they're gonna get together. And she's like, no, the story's not over. Not everyone lives.
Hint, hint.
Yes. And yes, Bob Robo Stash does unfortunately lose in his fight to Mr. Fishodor and has his mustache knocked off, which we've previously learned is going to result in brain explosion.
I did not like the way he described that. It made me shiver. Like how he was like, I'm not going to say
Water
it.
up your nose. The worst. Oh, the worst imagery. You can think of it so much.
I tried to cover my ears and I realized it's just making it worse. But
And
yes.
then knowing that his Robo Stash had to live on a cactus.
So Linda was like, she's like, I don't know, I don't really have anywhere to put it. He's like,
It's my dying wish. Well, I guess I can put it on my cactus.
And that's when he died. And,
Oh, you're dead.
Yeah.
died
Is that really funny? Oh, you're dead.
Let's be honest, I talk like Linda. That's because I just keep talking, and then I'm like, oh, you're dead. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But also the great thing about that is you also sing song things like Linda
Oh,
does.
that's true.
I
The
love
song
that Linda,
at the end of the episode was so good.
Well, and I love that in this story.
I'm engaged to Hugo.
Am I happy? I don't know. So funny. Yes, so Jean's story ends in tragedy, but Louise's story is even worse.
Oh my gosh, I love how Bob was just like, and I think I lost more of my dignity in that story.
Yeah. And she's like, great, so we'll go with that one.
Yeah.
That's obviously
That's
the right
obviously
one.
the truth. So I
But
love
I
this.
love they have the through line for it too, because before Louise starts talking, she's like, Dad, the internet says you might have testicular failure.
Yes.
And he's like, let's just talk about something else.
But I love how she's like, look, you're testicles just fail too.
Yeah.
He's like, they're trying.
Yes. No, it was really good because there were 3 very clear beats to this episode.
Yeah.
You know, the Robo Stash story, the be careful what you wish for Louise tale, and then Tina's ultimate
It's a
wall
really
tale.
good one to break down if you're a screenwriting student.
Totally, yes.
Like, it has the perfect arc, and you see exactly where Act 1, Act 2,
Absolutely.
Act 3.
There was a giant hero's journey in there
Yep.
somewhere.
So good.
Yeah, it was a very well constructed script, and as you say, Elena, they connected all of the segments
Super
really
well.
well in between, bringing us back into the actual world. So yes, Louise's tale basically involves
Is it American Werewolf kind
Well,
of?
it's okay, but the opening quote to her story was amazing. It was, "Love at first sight is a powerful thing, but usually one of those people will not be into it.
I'm not into it.
Then it's just sad."
Yep.
I'm like, wow. All right, Tina. You got a little too...
I feel like
Louise, you
that-
got way too real there.
That would be a really good start to a movie. Like, I
I
feel like the
know.
anti-romantic comedy, like, that... They could go somewhere.
I would totally watch.
He's
that.
not into you too? I don't know.
Yeah. Anything said by Kristen Shaw, though, I feel like...
No, like, she's just...
She could say any words, and that would just
I
start
know.
a cinematic journey that
Exactly.
I want to be a part of.
I was sad that I didn't hear... Well, no, she did scream in this one. I love when anytime when she, like, really disagrees and she's like, no!
Yeah.
Like, she does that so well.
So basically, in this episode, Bob falls in love with Linda, but Linda is not into Bob, and she's like, "Well, I'm only in town for one night, and I bet you can't grow a mustache in one night, so bye forever."
That was really good.
Thank you very
was
much.
very good.
And then, so Bob desperately tries to grow a mustache in one night because he has just got to be with this
And
lady.
he must have just saw Big and
I know.
decided to go to the cars to the pier. Oh, man.
Seriously? Yeah, that was hilarious when he went to go.
Swami.
Oh yeah, Swami.
Wish.
Bad Swami.
Which the repair guy in there had the same voice as Teddy. I wonder if it was
Yeah.
supposed,
Teddy.
it was supposed
It
to be
was
young
Teddy,
Teddy.
That's
yeah.
why the same guy that had indecent exposure
Yeah,
in,
yeah, yeah.
in Officer Robo Stash.
Yes.
Yeah, Teddy's just part of their lives.
From the beginning,
From the
Teddy was
beginning.
just always there. Yeah, so he makes a wish, which Teddy grants, and then
And it all goes
it
awry.
does. And he just starts growing hair uncontrollably.
And he's like, oh, you've got a soul patch. Oh, it's coming out of your ears. Oh, you got weird sideburns. Oh god, I'm gonna throw up.
I just love that. I just love that after Linda shaves him and
was
goes
so
turns
sexual.
the mirror around.
Yes.
It was weirdly sexual.
I was like, this is weird.
but Linda's a very sexual character, which is one of the many things I love about her. Oh my god! But when she turned the mirror around and then his hair grew back and she's like, "Okay, you want to go for a walk? Let's go for a walk."
Yes.
Oh, good boy! Like she started talking to him like he was a dog.
And he's like, I am excited. I just, not when you're saying it like that.
But I love that they also like incorporate the Wonder Dwarf into each
Yes,
thing too
yes.
so well, and they have the freak show.
It was so hilarious.
That's how you know that they're like siblings and they do have great minds, that
Yes,
they implement
exactly.
other stories into
Yeah,
theirs.
exactly, because it's like their stories are believable as stories that kids would tell because they draw so much from things they would actually know.
Yeah.
They incorporate a lot of aspects of their real life into these stories.
Yeah.
So they end up at the Wonder Wharf because Bob needs to get a job. And he
So sad.
applies with Mr. Fishoder to work in the
Education?
Freak Show. That was amazing.
Education?
Dartmouth. No, I'm sorry. Harvard?
Oh, okay.
I got nervous. I didn't go to college. My favorite though has to be the underwear skating guy. Like,
Yes!
yeah, man. He's like saying, he's
okay,
like, but
he's like,
society
cool.
will never accept you.
I love how you just like skate by like, cool. And I was like, oh
so
god,
awesome.
poor thing.
Yeah.
So good.
Oh, man.
I
And
feel like
so-
I'm gonna hear that in my head just like anytime I'm doing anything dumb.
Yeah,
Just, society will never accept you.
And so accurate for like the time period. It felt very like Venice in the 1980s.
It did feel very Venice. I love like can you put all the hair in a bun? I'm like, oh come on, be nice.
I like that during his interview for the Freak Show, Mr. Fishoder asked him, "Can you hang bricks from your nipples?" You would know.
And I'm like, why would you know that?
But the conclusion of this story was the most amazing thing, which of course Bob ends up working in the Freak Show, but Linda's story was amazing.
She had allergies and left Bob.
And Louise's explanation for why she joined a nunnery.
Well, for
She
Sister
thought
Act.
it was gonna be like Sister Act. It wasn't, and now she's in jail.
the end. And I was like, wow,
Louise is
Louise.
amazing.
I love her.
Yep.
But my favorite has to be
Tina's story.
Tina's was way too close to reality. I was just like, this is not cool.
Right, because Tina realizes early on that her parents would not have been able to be so charming to one another upon their first meeting if it weren't for the mustache ring getting stuck. And so she realizes, oh no, they would have never gotten together, and basically spins a whole tale that is if Hugo had been Bob.
Yes, and how it just would have been awful for Linda, and their children would have been the worst of the worst.
I know. I love that the children were the complete opposite of the children.
Mona, Dean, and Charlene.
Mona, Dean, and Charlize.
Mona, with her appropriate level of interest in boys.
Yeah. And then, what was it?
Dean.
Trying to get out of his...
Yeah,
trying to get out.
You can't bear the spotlight.
Yeah, and
I'm not yelling, I'm sorry.
And Charlize, with your stickers and your princess dolls.
The sweetest...
Princess Spin Around.
What do you want me to do to help with the business, Dad?
Well,
just twirl for me.
And I love that Bob, the health inspector, came in and she was
So
twirling
angry.
around, and she's like, I'm Princess Spin Around. And he's like, I'm pretty sure that's not a real princess. And then you saw like,
I hate
the one shade of real Louise.
That was so cool.
I love it.
It was hilarious. I also liked the detail when Hugo came in and was like, hey, what was it, Mona, Jimmy Jr. wants to take you to a zombie movie. And she's like, Jimmy Jr. and zombies.
I know.
Maybe in a parallel universe.
So good and so on the nose.
Yeah, it was. It was really on the nose.
But it was the best way to wrap up the
It
whole
was,
thing,
yeah,
too.
yeah, because it was so based in reality, and I loved that interaction between Bob and Linda, where Linda's like, I feel like I'm missing something. And
it's probably diarrhea.
There's a weird feeling inside of me. Oh, it's probably salmonella. Could be salmonella.
Yeah, it's
the whole through line of like, is there fate? And then they wrap it up in the one line where she's like, oh, fate is real. It's just really random. Oh, I feel so much better. And he's like, then that's it then.
That's it.
And
then we found out why he was losing his hair was because he was riding his bike so much that the testicular failure was from sitting on that thing for too long.
It all circles back.
Basically, the moral of this episode is don't ever exercise.
Yeah, so just never again.
Nope.
And I love how
I like it.
We tied it up with a perfect bow with Hugo and I can't remember
Ron,
yeah.
And he's like, don't you, Hugo, don't you ever feel like we were meant to be together? Stop bringing this up. Yeah, and it was just like, he was so angry, and I was like, yeah, I'm so glad that you guys are together.
So good.
I love that.
Do you guys have any final thoughts beyond that? I feel like that.
I'm so excited about the rest of the season.
The rest of the season has
it's
been
gonna be so good.
It's gonna be so amazing.
I know. Bob's Burgers is a show that I feel like has just gotten better every single season.
It's so good.
And while I don't feel like this episode eclipsed anything from last season, let's get real, last season's season premiere, Work Hard or Die Trying Girl, you will never have a better season premiere than that.
Nope.
But Bob's Burgers just always brings its A game. It's so strong, and it just keeps getting better and better and better as the writers and the performers get a better grasp on these characters and how they all relate to one another. So I'm really excited to see what's coming up.
I'm really hoping not to get into too much because I know we got to wrap up here. Yeah. But it's a really heavy prediction because I know that we've kind of teased this at one point. I want Louise to finally kind of see what love feels like with Tina, and then Tina's like, I can help you. I know there's something that was really close to that.
There was.
Louise was just like, nope, it was just gas or something weird like that.
Yeah.
But I'm really hoping that we might get a little itty bitty of that because technically she's supposed to be getting older.
Yeah, she's growing up. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
I
think it'd be great.
Awesome.
I don't know. Just what I'm expecting.
Well, thank you so much for tuning in tonight, guys. I hope you're all as excited about this after show as we are to be talking about it because we love Bob's Burgers. Alexis, where can people find you on the internet if they want to keep up with what you're doing?
Well, they can keep up with me all over social media as atorres890. I'm also going to be having a Q&A video coming up in 2 weeks, so please send me your questions. If you use Twitter or put it in the comments down below, use the hashtag AskAtorres890.
And where is that Q&A going to be?
On youtube.com/atorres890.
Elena.
You can find me on Twitter at Alana Jordan, as I am Alana Jordan. And you can find me on Instagram at that Alana Jordan girl. Alana Jordan was taken.
And you can find me all over the internet at Emma Fyffe. You can also find all three of us tomorrow on the Face Off After Show here at AFTERBUZZ TV. Be sure to also check out all of our sister networks, Popcorn Talk, Black Hollywood Live, Every Girl Book Circle. It's all happening here at AfterBuzz Media. So Emma Fyffe, it's my name, EMMAFYFFE. That's all F's as in Fred, no S's as in snake. They tend to sound the same when you record them or they are on the phone. And tune in next week, guys, for some more delicious Bob's Burgers action.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AFTERBUZZ TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AFTERBUZZ TV or its owners or principals.